Hi, everybody. Kathy Tooley, CEO from Tools for Success. Welcome to our next curtain. We're going to combine a few curtains today. We're going to combine curtains 2021 and 22 and 23. They're all about state testing. So there's really just a couple of points I want to make about those curtains. And then I really would invite you to read the book, The Education System is Broken, Strategies for Rebuilding Hope, Lives, and Futures, to get even more into them. I really want to make 2 points. Number one, testing was pure at heart. Testing was pure at heart. One of the things that you will hear politicians say is teachers hate state testing. You know, they hate it. They're upset by the fact that we test students. I want you to pause by how stupid that statement is. Teachers gave birth to tests. We knew what tests were before you did. We dream of tests. We know every assessment from a one question after the class test to a 2-hour semester exam. The blue books that you took in college that gave you nightmares. We know tests. So to say that teachers hate state testing is the most ludicrous and ignorant statement out there. And I believe that testing, when it was born, is pure at heart. I believe that second graders in Iowa should be held to the same standards that second graders in Mississippi, that second graders in Texas, that second graders in Florida are held accountable to. I believe that. And I believe that we have to test, like we do in our own classrooms, to measure our students' learning so we know where the deficiencies exist. So that's what I say, that testing was pure at heart. And I doubt that very many people disagree and argue with that. Here's where the curtain comes. Testing has become like a shell game. Remember those good old shell games where you put these 3 shells and you hid the marble under one and you move them around and you go, now find the marble. Do you remember those? That's what testing has become for educators. It's a game. What's going to be on the test? How much of it's going to be on the test? When are students going to test? Who's going to test? To what level are they going to test? Who's going to be held accountable? To what degree? Is it a graduation requirement or isn't? It's like a constant political shell game, and the teachers are back there going, just tell me what you want. I'll do what you want, but I can't do what I don't know. Some states have become very transparent with their testing. I know we work with many states, and many assessments are right out there. Previous examples of exactly what to teach. In other states, it's as hidden as the biggest secret you've got in your family you don't want anybody to know. And it's almost like a you go figure it out. And then they get mad when they aren't achieving. Refer back to one of the videos that I did a while back about politics and education. Rewatch that one. And you'll start to understand why. The platform I talked about then, about education becoming a platform, testing is one of those things that sits on that platform. So I need for students to not be successful on that platform so I can say, see, schools are terrible. Schools are horrible places. And I, as this politician, am going to make it better. How are you going to make it better? You go in there and teach that? Then why don't you assist the very people that are? And then the last thing I want to say about testing is this. The stakes have gotten high. I've watched the pendulum swing from, well, we used to give state testing and kids literally colored Christmas trees. You know, the little Scantron, they just colored Christmas trees or a pattern because the test mattered absolutely nothing. To now, I swear you have to give your firstborn or you'll live or die by that test. I've watched a student and otherwise be very successful in high school and cannot graduate now because of that state test. I've watched teachers who are incredible teachers and can't pass a state licensure test that is ridiculous not get into classrooms. I've watched the Jay Leno's and the Dave Lettermans of the world. Remember the good old late night talk shows when they used to put microphones in front of kids' faces and say, who's the president of this or how many things or whatever, and kids don't answer and they laugh. They laugh at education. When I think, have you looked at any state tests recently? Because state tests don't ask for those facts. They ask our kids to think, which is what really education's all about. Why do kids have to memorize a fact that they could ask Google in 30 seconds for? So I think that what I want to say in this YouTube video is this. I am not the person who's going to say that we shouldn't have tests or state tests. And if you are one of those educators, then we can agree to disagree. Because I think there has to be something. You're using something in your classroom to measure learning. There has to be something that we agree upon and measure learning. But the value that it has and what it has on it and the transparency to that has to change. We have to arm the very people that are teaching the students the curriculum that you want to assess, what curriculum you want assessed, what curriculum you're expecting to be taught. And unless or until we do that, all we're doing is crippling our teachers instead of empowering them. And I, for one, am a person who believes that when you empower people, they can do anything. When you cripple them, they'll crawl. And I don't want my educators teaching my future grandchildren to crawling. I want them running. So I think my goal for this curtain is this. Don't get muddied in the minutia you hear sometimes from the media that teachers are throwing a fit because they're state testing, because that's just not true. Pay attention to the why. Sit down and ask an educator, what do you hate about state testing and what could make it better? And then let's get in partnership to make that happen. Why don't we do that? Why don't we stop attacking something that every educator has been giving since teaching was a thing? Why don't we rather instead join together in making something beautiful to really truly assess our students and fill in gaps? So I no longer have a freshman enter my high school reading at a 4th grade level. Why don't we look at that? Why don't you help become part of the solution by subscribing to this channel, liking this channel, sharing this channel with other people who too could stand in partnership with me. And don't forget, I hear there's this little bell that you can click and you'll know about future videos. Please come join us in the conversation, not the attack, but the conversation. And thank you every single day for what you do making a difference.